And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Monday, May 5th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome here on a Monday morning. And we want to welcome MJ back. We've missed her for a week, but Matt Griffin did a wonderful job. And it's just good to have two people who can come in and take care of the controls and not miss a beat. So here on a Monday morning, we're ready to start for Absolute Kubota, and we've got Clint Kelly here, who manages the service department at Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main here in Lebanon. And Clint, a good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to see you again. I get in my car and it starts sprinkling rain. We've had some rain here lately. I don't know what that's done to. For one thing, it's caused the grass to grow for sure, and I want to think we're going to have a good hay season this May, which we might talk a little bit about this morning. But good to have you again. What's on your mind?
No, same thing. I think it's clearly if things are greening up, grass is growing like crazy. And here in the service department, we're just here to help out customers as they run into any issues. We still have a few people that are, trying to get some service done, but most of the stuff, it's, people that have been mowing for a few months now, and something's broken, something's not working right. So we're getting lots of calls about that and trying to work through things.
Well, the thing about it is you help people, whether it's their lawn or the surroundings of their home that they're taking care of, the upkeep, lawn mowers, these riding mowers, zero-turn mowers that you have. But May is the time that we begin to think about hay out in the fields, and you have a lot of people. We have people who are weekend farmers who have maybe small acreages but have hay to cut, and so that affects you and people at Absolute as well.
Absolutely. Kubota has a line of hay equipment, so we've got balers, tedders, rakes, and disc mowers that we take care of, and so that you're right. We'll probably start seeing stuff like that here soon. We try and get out in front of it. We've got customers that we know that they always like stuff tuned up, so we try and contact them and take care of it. And if there's anyone that has a Kubota branded machine that they think it's maybe wasn't working just right towards the last cut last year, you can give us a shout and we can do everything we can to help you out.
Well, you take care of their service needs, and service can include maintenance and repair. So you're pretty much attuned to both of those, whether it's torn up or just needs a little
That's right.
little tender love and care.
The biggest thing, we've got a lot. I think the more you do the maintenance, the less repairs you'll typically have. So that's one thing we try and promote. And then one thing, we've had a lot of people that have bought Kubota equipment throughout the years. I'll put in a plug, and Ryan may have talked about it last week. Kubota has fantastic insurance. So if you bought a Kubota piece of equipment, especially if you financed it, you might have Kubota insurance. If there's a ding, a scratch, a dent, that deductible, it's only $250. So call us. We can set up a repair for the insurance, but then also get it tuned up. And that policy also covers transport. So that's one thing we try and let people know about, that they kind of forget that that's one tool in their arsenal that they can use.
Well, you can have some difficulties, some let's say some accidents, some bad results when you're transporting or whatever. So I don't think we've ever talked about that before. I didn't know that you actually insured those implements. That's great.
So they can insure the implements. You can do extended warranties on them as long as you're still in the initial warranty period. But we had a gentleman that brought his tractor in just a couple weeks ago that he had a decent-sized dent on his hood, and we were able to get that covered for him. It's the part itself is definitely more than $250. But the crazy thing is with Kubota's insurance is if he dents it again using his front loader and something falls out and hits the hood, he can file another claim. They don't change his premium. He just pays another $250 out of pocket, and he'll get a brand new hood. So it's a great policy.
As far as equipment goes like that, probably doesn't help it run any better unless the accident really damaged an internal part, perhaps. But it sure makes it look better.
That's right.
And
absolutely,
and you're all for that too.
Absolutely. Well, and the best thing is, like I said, especially someone that might live a little further away, that policy does cover transport. So we've tried to let people know, like, hey, if you've got a ding or a dent, something that's not working right, it was an accident, whatever you're doing, that's fine. Give us a call. We can get you the number to file a claim, and then we can get it picked up and brought in and repaired and taken care of for you.
And that number, of course, is 615-449-6171. Absolute Kubota at 1506 West Main. You really got a great location there. And there's enough area out in front of your building to display a lot of equipment. And it pretty much stays displayed there.
We do. We've got plenty right now. We've got tons. We talked about it before. We've got tons of RTVs now that were hard to come by. And I don't think we've had more skid steers than we've ever had at this moment. So we've got, I think, 12 or 13 on the front lot.
Well, if it's on a day where you got showers, like it looks like today might be, you can take a good look at that between showers, to say the least.
That's right. That's right.
So pay them a visit, 1506 West Main, and you are open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturdays from 8 a.m. to noon. At 4 hours on Saturday morning,
yes,
8 a.m. to noon. And you can go to the website at www.absolutekubota.com. Well, Clint, have a great week. Hopefully we'll do it again next Monday.
Thank you so much.
All right. Clint Kelly, Service Department, Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. We are 10 minutes after the hour, and here on a Monday, I want to welcome Sheriff Robert Bryan. He is right here and ready to go, and he would probably say, I'm back in the saddle in my usual spot now, in my spot.
7 o'clock. I got it back.
Well, it definitely is yours from May through December, so that's the biggest part of the year.
You text me, what, Friday, I think, and just making sure I remembered it was 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I did, so.
Well, you text back, said, yes, sir. Well, we appreciate Sheriff Robert Bryan, and I thought it was at the roast. Well, have you been on the air since we had the roast?
No.
That was since you were last here. Well, it was really a great evening. And you got a couple of good things in there. And the first one, which I thought maybe was the funniest thing that happened the whole evening. You were being roasted by former Sheriff Terry Ash, who I guess hired you and put you in the jail to run it years and years ago.
He did.
And of course, John Bryan, your first cousin, who was not only MC but was one of the roasters, but Judge Barry Tatum was there too and got in a few licks. But in your response, you suggested that these famous cheesecakes that Barry Tatum, Judge Tatum, is famous for. You got them at the local grocery store.
Them cheesecakes.
And I thought that was
he told me the week after that. He said, "I just want to thank you." And I said, "What for?" And he said, the cost, the demand for his cheesecakes has went up since that night. So and plus the price of them. So I'm looking forward to the next auction. I have to buy one.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the funnier things. And then the last thing you did, just at the very end, you got in a political word, if you want to call it that. You let everybody know you're going to run for sheriff.
Yeah.
You want their vote.
I mean, there was a lot of people there, Coleman, and I couldn't. I had to do that. The timing was right there.
Yeah. But a great evening, and to raise money for some causes that are sanctioned, of course, by the Kiwanis Club of Lebanon. But it wasn't that bad. I'm sure you enjoyed it.
It was a good time for a good cause, and I was reluctant at first, but I think everybody had a good time. And,
and then one of the other things, we've heard this before, but John is your cousin, Tommy is your cousin, but so is Chick, whose real name is Robert. And one of the funnier things we've heard several times: will the real Robert Bryan stand up?
And both of us stood up. So.
Well, anyway, what's going on in the Sheriff's Department?
It's busy. We're getting that time of year where things are warming up, but you can't tell it today. There's a little rain. It actually is a little cool today, but we're getting into the warmer part of the season and year, and I was looking at my monthly reports. It was actually last month. We're already seeing an increase in calls for service just about across the board, everything, and just trying to stay up on top of that. And but we see it every year at this time, mainly because more people's out and about, more people's moving, and it's just. But like I said, the calls for service, the number of people arrested, just about you name it, is increasing.
Well, one of the things I have noticed as far as the presence, even in the city of Lebanon, the presence of these sheriff's patrol cars, you're out and about, and every once in a while you even see somebody pulled over here in the city.
Yeah, and you got to understand that, to get out in the county, you have to go through the city, and the city is in the county, by the way. Yeah. But it's we're out. We try to have as much presence as we can everywhere. We're responsible for the whole county, and but in the same time, it's not just patrol officers I've got out there. It's school resource officers out sometime on the road, transport warrants cars, civil process cars. They're out making their rounds, doing their job, and just the visibility part of it is real important.
And of course, there's so much involved with being sheriff. Really, you don't maybe think about that until you realize what all the sheriff is responsible for. I mean, all these warrants. Right. That's a whole category by itself. You've got. Of course, the traffic, but you got your detective division, and then there's the jail. So I don't know if we were listing the things in a row here that you're responsible for. There's probably at least 6 things I think I could name.
The jail, the securing the houses, and you said something about warrants. What we're seeing now. There was some laws passed last year before, where we're required to enter just about every warrant into the nationwide computer system. So what does that do? Every time somebody's stopped in wherever another state, they're going to hit as being wanted out of Wilson County. So we're seeing a big increase of us having to go to other states to pick up these people and bring them back. We're not going to go get some kind of misdemeanor public drunk fare to appear on a public drunk, but if they're catching a lot of major criminals in other states that belong, in Tennessee, but we've been to Florida, we've been to Chicago, we've been to Florida like 3 times in the past couple of months. Mississippi, just all over. So we had one in Colorado and one in California that we had to hire somebody to bring them back. Mm-hmm. So,
okay, Sheriff Robert Bryan, my guest this morning here on Coleman and Company. We'll continue in a moment. This is 98.9 FM.
All right, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, get a regular oil change, $39.95, up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic volume has really started to increase coming through Mount Juliet right now, leaving Wilson County on I-40 as you head on through Hermitage into Donaldson. 65 south slow here at Trinity Lane. 24 seems to be on the increase quite a bit now. About a Murfreesboro, Rutherford County on 24 there where it connects with 840. Princess Hot Chicken has new items on the menu. Check them all out this week when you order online at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
When there's work to do, ground to break, and a reputation to uphold, you need the powerful, durable Kubota RTVX, North America's #1 selling diesel utility vehicle. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months, or save up to $1,000. Now through January 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main, Lebanon.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on a Monday morning. Sheriff Robert Bryan is here, and this is kind of a joke between the two of us, but he is on the first half hour most of the year, but during the legislative session, of course, comes on at 7:30 on the first Monday. But we're back to the top half of the hour this morning. If you joined us late, and he is here, and I guess one thing we could talk about here. This is May. By this time next month, I'm guessing you will be well on your way to either having done your budget or have it even turned in maybe to the county committees, however that process goes. And I'll bet you're working on it now.
Well, we've been working on it for a few months, and we're actually done submitted it to the Law Enforcement Committee, and I think there'll be budget committees over the next few within the next month, I'd say, and we'll submit it to them and move forward and see how it all pans out.
Are you asked to cut much out from what? I mean, you know the county commissioners, having been sheriff for several terms here, and probably anticipate some of the questions they're going to ask about different items, line items, whatever that you have in your budget, whatever you're asking for. And of course, in the past, maybe the kind of distant past, people used to ask for a lot more than they really needed, right, knowing that they're going to cut somewhere and trying to be prepared for that. Do you still play those games a little bit?
Well, it's not now. It really not. It's we work well with the county commission, and they understand that there's certain requirements in the sheriff's office and all across other departments also across the county that we're required to do, and it's just a teamwork, trying to work together, and listen, I've been known as being a conservative ever since I've been sheriff and before. I'm not going to ask for something I don't really need. Most time what we're asking for, number one, is trying to take care of our employees, and we need to really do that again this year because of it's a battle, fending off these other agencies that's trying to hire my people and our people, and but what you see is when one jurisdiction raises theirs up, maybe Sumner County or Rutherford County or whatever, or police departments will raise theirs up, and it's just like a seesaw going back and forth, and you just try to stay out as competitive as you can to keep your people, your good people. We spend a lot of time and money in training these people, and we want to keep them. We don't want other agencies to benefit from it on our good people.
Yeah, you don't want to be a training ground for somebody else.
That's correct. That's correct. And they're in the same boat we are. I mean, I'm not just saying us. They're actually in the same boat. They don't want to be a training ground either. And I've hired some outside of agencies people. I mean, but that's just the way it works.
Is it any more difficult now than it was 5 years, 10 years ago for raw recruits to be hired? I mean, people wanting to be in law enforcement and be in the sheriff's office.
It's very, very difficult. You've asked several times here on the radio, do I have any openings as far as employees? And I always say yes. It's hard to find people that, want to stay in law enforcement once they get in it. We're hiring people in corrections, and that's where they get their, foot in the door. And, if we can get them through that, a lot of times if we get them on patrol, we're pretty good about holding on to them. But that first impact of coming into the corrections and jail and working in that, it's a different generation, Coleman.
But that's almost a necessary beginning place for most people, isn't it?
I think it is. I think it's a benefit. I see the people that's come out of corrections that went on patrol or SROs or whatever. They got different abilities, I would say, than some of the others. When I say abilities, that they know the people they're dealing with is what I'm trying to say, and they can communicate because they're with them. They're with them back here in the jail pretty much 24 hours a day, but they know these people that they're going to be dealing with once they get out on the road. So it's a big benefit, and it's just like when I was in correction. I mean, I didn't have corrections when I started at Lebanon Police Department, but and once I got over at the sheriff's office and was able to run the jail, it was a benefit to me to this day, and because it's part of corrections is part of law enforcement, and you just need to. It's great for people to learn that aspect.
Well, it costs money for people to be incarcerated. I mean, you have to feed them. They clothe them. I guess they have certain uniforms or whatever that they wear. But sometimes they get sick. You've got to take them to the doctor, or even to the hospital at times. You're responsible for them while they're incarcerated, aren't you?
It's pretty much I call it a small town. I mean, it's they come in and we're responsible for all that. And we're seeing a lot of expenses in food, but you're seeing that at home, and the daily care of the inmates, and which we're required to do. We're not treating them extravagant. We're treating them right. But we're seeing a drastic increase in medical costs inside the facility. You got 600 people in jail. You're going to have people that have to go out to hospital and have medical care because they're coming in and they're not healthy. Yeah. They probably hadn't been to the doctor, and they come in and most of them's addicted. And you have things like that you have to deal with, and coming off all these addictions, it causes other things to happen as far as medically related. And I think last week we had 3 people in the hospital, and the cost of that, and it's going to.
Well, now if you have somebody that is incarcerated, locked up for a period of time here, they get sick, they go to the hospital, how are they taken care of? Do you have somebody with them in the hospital room necessarily?
That's another aspect of it. We talk about being shorthanded sometime in the jail, trying to spend a lot of overtime in corrections. We're having, just like last week, I said 3 people were in the hospital. I had 3 officers sitting in there in the rooms with them. So that takes away from the jail.
That's a necessity.
That you have to. It's a requirement. We can't just cuff them to the bed and leave. So it's a requirement.
They have a special place in the hospital necessarily?
I'm sure they do. They don't.
You don't worry about that.
Yeah, we pretty much go the same area most times. So unless it's intensive care or something like that.
Yeah. So. Okay. But that's something that I hadn't really thought a lot about, and the average person probably doesn't realize some of the money that has to be spent just because you're a sheriff.
Yep, that the county has to spend, and it's
out of the sheriff's budget.
Out of the sheriff's budget, the county's budget, and we hate we don't. We've got to treat them right. Okay, we got to treat them like human beings, no matter what they did. But it cost the jail cost.
Anything else in particular on your mind this morning? Susie just walked in and is visiting her morning visit with MJ. I want to cut short. I want to get her in here for a minute.
Have at it. She's the boss.
Susie, if you would make your way in here. Because she posted something on Facebook yesterday that had to do with the Cumberland University Bull Phoenix, who won their tournament, and I believe Coach Ryan Hunt was given the Coach of the Year, Manager of the Year for the district or
That's
whatever.
Great.
She can tell us all about it because she was there. I was really surprised. Susie joined the sheriff and I for our last couple of minutes here.
Good morning. Gentlemen.
Yes.
Good morning.
You were with Coach Woody Hunt presenting to his son the award, right?
I was.
Tell us about that.
Now, when you say I was with him, I was in the stands, but yes, I made the short drive to Bowling Green yesterday early morning, and they were unsuccessful in the first game, so they did have to play 2. And they won the second game, and it was very emotional. Of course, the rain was moving in, and we were afraid there was going to be a rain delay. But then when they just piled on everybody, piled on the coach when they won. But for Woody Hunt to present that award to Ryan, and it's named the Woody Hunt Award, he was very emotional. He said this was really one of his highlights of his career.
I understand this means Cumberland has got an automatic invitation to the next level.
To the next level, which is the regionals. This was the Mid-South Conference in a fabulous hot rod stadium in Bowling Green. It was a beautiful stadium. Yes, we'll find out Wednesday evening. We won't know where they go. The next tournament's in maybe 4 different locations.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just watch one game at a time. But they'll find out Wednesday evening, and then they won't play before Monday. So they'll have a week.
But anyway, congratulations to the Phoenix and to Coach Ryan Hunt.
Right. And our broadcast crew, let me brag on them just a second. Randy Salas and Chris Slaughter, they are excellent. Their detail and Chris, having played at Cumberland, he has an insight that you can't get from the other side. And then Kyle Allen, I mean, he's kind of a silent worker in all of it, the information director, but he did the PA announcing for the game and the score. And so trying to be neutral and professional, I mean, he did an excellent job right up till the end.
Yeah, all right.
So,
okay, our final 30 seconds for Sheriff Bryan this morning.
Thank
Sheriff,
you.
we appreciate you being with us each month, and we'll hopefully see you on the first Monday in June. But any final comments this morning?
Just everybody be safe. A lot of people out there, it's raining, the roads are wet, and just be safe.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for being with us, and our best to you, and thanks again.
Thank you.
Sheriff Robert Bryan, that's part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more. Please keep it right here, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by Absolute Kubota. Premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 449-6171. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's heavier than it was 20 minutes ago on 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. It seems to have increased already over here on Briley Parkway around Two Rivers. Watch for a little bit of radar there on that section of Briley Parkway. 24, pretty heavy now with that traffic volume westbound coming out of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County here up by Haywood Lane, Bell Road. Traffic still moving up through Brentwood. 65 northbound. That's building pretty good up through Williamson County. Hey, if you recently suffered hail or storm damage to your roof, now it's starting to leak. Call Independent Roofing Specialists today. Check them out first at irsroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Well, that partly cloudy skies with cool conditions for today. Highs will be in the middle 60s. Mostly clear and cold for tonight. Lows in the upper 40s and then partly cloudy and a little bit warmer on Tuesday. Afternoon highs back in the middle 70s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your severe view forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
yes.
Okay. And we welcome you to part two of Coleman and Company. Here on this Monday morning, we're going to do the usual, and that's introduce Gail Helen, the Director of Marketing and Events for the Farm Bureau Expo Center. Good morning.
Good morning. Good raining morning.
Yeah, good to see the sheriff this morning on the first half.
I know. Haven't seen him in a while.
Be for a while now, but we miss our legislators, but the legislative session's over. And enough about that. What's happening at the Farm Bureau Expo Center?
Well, probably the better question is, and Sheriff Bryan just asked me, he says, what was going on at the expo this weekend? And the answer to that was Cumberland University's undergrad graduation. We had, I just checked the counters this morning, we had about 5,600, a little over 5,600 people at the building. So I got several text messages from people that were attending going, it's packed here. And I'm like, I had no doubt.
Well, a lot of people and probably a goodly number from out of town even to attend the
I would expect
ceremony.
that would be the case, yeah.
But you were up to it, and everything I think went well.
Yeah. They made the decision on Wednesday that they were going to flip and have it in the expo. So because of the weather, and we quickly pulled together to support them, and they had a plan, and they executed the plan, and everything happened.
Right, and sometimes it's just hard to know. To make the right call, you have to you have to think of the worst case scenario and go from that. I mean, if it looks like rain, there's a good chance it's going to. Then you going to go ahead and have it there,
True.
and it might turn out that the sun is shining brightly and all is well on the Cumberland campus. But it wasn't that way Saturday.
It was not that way Saturday, and then you also have to consider the fact what's the weather the day and two before, because if the ground is saturated, it's going to make it really hard for them to have it out on the lawn. And I understand why they want it there.
Yeah.
But we're honored to be, a backup plan for them and try to execute that for them as much as possible.
And then it is incumbent to some degree on, I guess, the police department to control traffic, especially when it's time to dismiss.
Yeah, they've got Cumberland's got their system down. They knew who to call, what to do. We knew the drill. And so it took all of us to make sure everybody got everything done. And by Friday evening around 6 o'clock, everything was set and ready to go.
Yep.
So,
all right. Well, what's on the horizon, or what's happening even today?
Oh, well, we will be cleaning up after this weekend today. That's a big part of the system, as you well know. And then we'll just be gearing up to roll into May. And we have a brand new show coming up this next weekend. It's DAX, which is an industry-related event, trade show, large-scale printing. Think, like we all know, Southeast Impressions locally. They do printing. So equipment and services and resources that they use would be the kind of thing that would be represented at this show. So I'm excited to bring a new trade show to the area. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, there's been a lot of moving parts and pieces for this particular show. So we're excited to see how it comes along. And they're already booked for next year, too. So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
And then we have another new show. We've got Mid Tennessee Sports Spectacular. So I would say cross between a trade show and maybe a flea market type environment. Tons and tons and tons of vendors and all kinds of memorabilia that you may be interested in exploring and looking to see if it exists out there that you don't find just going to one of the regular stores. No. And then after that, we are, one of my favorites is Slammed Enough. We got a car show coming out. And I'm very proud of these people that put this show on, because when they first started coming, there was a stigma that they were, they're the ones that go out and, do donuts in the middle of the road, and all kinds of assumptions were made. And I worked with them and I talked with them and I said, look, this is how you have to execute the show, and this is how your event people need to participate in this manner. Otherwise, you're going to end up owning the assumptions. And they took that to heart. And there's always one or two people that are going to do something stupid, but they do a good job. And I'm always excited to see them come back because I get to hang out and talk to them about their cars.
All right. Well, that's. I think this is the same thing we did have some problem with years ago.
It's similar, but it's not the same show.
Okay.
Yeah.
But some of us kind of hated for them to even hit town because we knew the problems they were going to incur.
Correct.
But that is not true anymore.
Well, it is not true of this group.
All right.
I can't speak if that group was to ever come back.
Okay. You're covering yourself well this morning.
I'm trying.
But, all right. Well, I was just sitting here thinking we're about to run out of time here, but you have to be prepared. And I don't know how much inventory, equipment, et cetera, that you keep and have there, but you have to adapt well to the different events that you have, and you have a small staff, but it seems like you're able to do that just very well.
It is pretty amazing what a staff of 7 can do. It really is. If you think about it, every event we have, the setup, the cleanup, the breakdown, I do very limited marketing for every event, but I do tell people what we're having. We have that in various locations. You can always go to our website. That calendar feed is our exact calendar. So if it's on the website, it's on our calendar. Mm-hmm. We're not having to go in and plug it in. It automatically feeds to it. So we have to be prepared for what they need, and Zendel handles a lot of that logistics, and actually he handles most of that logistics. And so he's always contacting them and wanting to know what they need. And he tries to get that low down. We try to anticipate everything we can, but I think the rule of thumb that most people would agree with is events always have one or two things that you go, yep, didn't think of that. Yep, didn't see that coming. Yep, I didn't know that was part of the plan. And we adapt to that as well.
All right. Thanks so much for being with us today. We'll talk again next Monday.
Sounds wonderful.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Gail Hallam, Director of Marketing Events for the Farm Bureau Expo Center. You can check out their website at farmbureauexpo.com or Facebook for events, event details, leasing information, and more. We are about 21 minutes away from 8 o'clock, and I'm going to be featuring this morning Playhouse 615. And Joel Merriweather is with us, along with a couple of other people. Joel, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How
nice
are you?
to see you again, and good to have you and two others with us this morning. You've got a play, a production that I believe started this past weekend.
Yes, sir.
And going to be around for a couple more that we want to talk about this morning. Well, tell us what it is.
It is called Death of a Streetcar Named Virginia Woolf, and it is a comic mashup between Thornton Wilder's Our Town, Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Tennessee Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire, and Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman.
All right. Well, you said a mouthful there.
Indeed.
All right. Well, before we go further, you have a couple of people that are with you this morning. Introduce them, if you will.
So, to my right is Lindsay Patrick Wright, who plays Blanche Dubois. And across from me is Ann Street Kavanaugh, our managing director.
Good morning.
All right. We want to welcome both of you.
Thank you.
Lindsay Patrick Wright, your first time, as I recall. Have you been on here with Joel before?
I have not been on the Coleman show before.
Okay.
This is my first time, and quite an honor because I listen to you all the time, Coleman.
Oh, well, thank you. We're glad to have
I'm
you.
a Mount Juliet resident as well. So,
well, it's even better to have somebody from Mount Juliet listening to the west, if you will. Mm-hmm. And what's going on with you?
Oh, just always lots and lots of stuff trying to get this show up and running, and it is so funny. It's a parody of all of these shows, a mashup, as you will. And there's a little bit of other stuff like Equus also thrown in, little tidbits. But it is the most fun thing if you love those characters. But it's not drama. All of those shows he just mentioned are all dramatic, classical dramatic theater. But this is a mashup of all of them done in a very comical style.
All right. Well, let's talk about logistics here a little bit. Okay. Since we're talking to you, this Playhouse 615. The location is
at 11920 Lebanon Road. So
it's near the county line, as I understand it.
Yes.
But it's in Wilson County.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's in Mount Juliet.
Okay. A Mount Juliet address just before you, and it's right off it's 70.
It's about a mile down from Mount Juliet Road where it meets Lebanon Road.
Okay. All right. Mount Juliet Road or Highway 7 if you're looking at the highway markers. But you're in Wilson County when you get there. Now, I believe you have performances on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of 3 weekends.
We do. We just had our first weekend, though. We were sold out yesterday. We had people. We almost had to turn people away. We had so many come in that did not have tickets.
Well, word has already gotten out then. That's good.
Yes, it has.
How was the performance?
It was fabulous. Yeah. I mean, our Lindsay's in our show. She's done stuff with us before, and she's just amazing. Her timing. I mean, she was a professional actress before she became a mom and stuff. And so we do have a lot of people who come and work with us who had professional careers, and then for whatever reason, maybe they got married, had children, or other career paths. They stopped working full time, and they just do it now for fun and when they can. And so we're very lucky to have them with us.
well, I don't know how difficult casting might be or choosing whom is going to play the part of this sort of thing, but at least you have some quality to choose from.
Oh, do we ever? We really, really do.
What's the price of a ticket?
It is $20 for an adult ticket. For if you're military or if you have a group of 10 or you're a senior citizen, we do a $17 ticket for you. Children, it's the same for children as well. Mm-hmm. And some of our shows are normally not geared toward children at all, or we would advise not to bring children, but this one you could.
Okay.
For sure. It's cute.
All right. And so you're going to be here at this location this coming weekend and the following weekend,
yes.
On Friday and Saturday at what time?
7:30. And our house opens at 7. It's general seating, so when you get there, you can pick your seat, so to speak.
And then on Sunday afternoon,
it's at 2:30.
2:30.
And our house opens 30 minutes before.
7:30 and 2:30.
Yes, sir.
With doors opening 30 minutes prior.
Right.
$20 and $17.
Yes.
All right. I think that kind of covers.
But you know what? We can give a special little code if you call the box office and just tell them WANT, WANT. I'll give you $5 off your ticket.
Oh, $5 off. All right.
Hey, that's something.
Well, Lindsay Patrick Wright, she has extolled, I guess would be a proper word, your
so
performance.
Kind, yes.
And you enjoy this. This what you're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
Your role here.
Well, so Blanche Dubois is probably a name that people will recognize from the play and the movie A Streetcar Named Desire, and it is a very classic dramatic role for a female actress, but being able to play Blanche Dubois in this play is much more enjoyable because it is hilarious, and it's she's still very melodramatic as she is in the play and in the movie, but in the context of this play, it's hilarious, and you don't have to worry about the trauma and the drama. You can just have fun on stage.
And you had fun.
Oh, yes. That's I like to say I feel very fortunate that we have Playhouse 615 here in Wilson County as a professional actress because I don't have to go very far. And I've performed at a number of other theaters around Middle Tennessee, but I like to say that Playhouse 615 is my favorite place to play. Yay. Because every show I've been in at Playhouse 615 is It's just exactly what you want theater to be. It's a bunch of creative people getting together and having a good time.
Okay, with that, we will take our break here, and I'll reintroduce the cast, the three people who are my guests this morning when I return here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways, and it's all brought to you by Bates Ford. Get a battery installed on most vehicles, $199.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We had some police activity over here a few minutes ago on 65 southbound on that ramp to Rosa Parks. You got all that traffic headed towards Metro Center in that area this time of the morning. It's finally moving better on Briley Parkway westbound at Clarksville Pike on that earlier crash. We're seeing slow traffic now trying to get up through Spring Hill on 65 going northbound right where it connects with 840. Hey, if you recently suffered hail or storm damage to your roof and now that roof is starting to leak, call Independent Roofing Specialists. Check out irsroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322.
Need a venue for your next corporate training, meeting, luncheon, or customer appreciation event? These are just a few of the event options that the Farm Bureau Expo Center can accommodate within its 79,000 square feet of adaptable event space. The Farm Bureau Expo Center offers unparalleled versatility for corporate events in Wilson County. Come on by and check us out. For booking details as well as upcoming events, visit farmbureauexpo.com or find us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you soon at the Farm Bureau Expo.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on a Monday morning. We are featuring Playhouse 615 And don't do like I did when I first saw that and call it Playhouse 615. It's 615 as our area code.
We'll take it.
And that was kind of an ironic thing that y'all came up with, but you were looking for something a name, and then you think of our area code 615, so it's Playhouse 615, which I think is clever, but it is 615, not 615.
Correct.
So Joel Merriweather is with us, along with Ann Street Kavanaugh. You're directing this.
No, I did not direct. I'm the managing director of the theater itself.
Managing director of Playhouse 615.
Yes.
But enjoying this.
Oh my gosh, we've had a blast. I'm sort of the producer.
Lindsay Patrick Wright, who is one of the characters and who expressed what a great weekend it was. What's your performance? You have equally as much fun Friday night, Saturday night as you did Sunday afternoon?
Absolutely. I mean, of course, it helps when we have a sold out audience because it is a comedy. So as an actor, you like to have that feedback of the laughter and know that you've got an engaged crowd. But our Friday and Saturday night shows were almost sold out too. So we had big groups, and I think it's important. Friday night we had a lot of our family, and not all family members are theater people. So even though this show is based on a bunch of different plays with a bunch of familiar characters, my husband didn't know any of these, and he had a great time Friday night. So even if you're not a theater nerd, this play, you'll have a good time with this play as well.
Joel, we haven't let you say much. You usually do most of the talking when you bring somebody.
That's every day.
You're the person that I look at to, well, actually, you usually let me know and ask to be on, and you have any time for us? And if I can, I'll make time, which was really short notice for this morning. But we appreciate having you and what you're doing. And what do you want to add to this? This is an unusual thing that you take, I believe, 4 different productions and make a comedy thing out of. For that in itself is unusual, isn't it?
Yes. The play was created by the Second City, Chicago, and the Writers Theater, 2 well-known theater companies in Chicago, Illinois. And they had this idea, and they said, what if the most well-known characters from all of these American plays met on stage at the same time? And that's what we've got, is this mashup of all of these wonderful American plays. There are references to Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. There's references to The Glass Menagerie. There's references to Eugene O'Neill's Long Day Journey into Night and The Iceman Cometh. There's even a reference to Peter Schaffer's Equus. So it's a very unique play that I think a lot of people, even if they had modern drama in high school, recognize some of these characters or even the titles of some of these plays. Mm-hmm. It's very funny and it's very well done.
All right, who chose the cast?
Abby Wattops is our director.
All right.
And she is the one who cast the play.
Well, maybe one day you'll have her here.
Would love to.
Yes.
We asked her. She was off doing something.
Yeah. Well, and Kavanaugh, Ann Street Kavanaugh, you've been here 2 or 3 times.
I have.
And
I have a
is
good
nice
time
to
here.
see you today. And,
Thank you.
I take it that there has to be a little collaboration, or I don't think, Joel, you just say, we're going to do this, and...
Oh, no, Ann would kill me.
Yes, I would. No, we have a whole play selection committee, and we read plays. So we're already reading plays for 2026. So we all get together, and we go through plays, and we have certain criteria because we're such a small theater. Mm-hmm. So something like The Music Man, we would never be able to do. There's just too many cast members. So we have to go through, and we have a genre, different genres. We love to do a farce, and Joel could probably talk more about this because he's our artistic director, but we'll do a classic. We'll do a dramedy. We'll do a comedy. We try to do something special for Christmas.
And a musical, because Anne loves musicals.
I love musicals. I did so many musicals when I was younger. At dinner theaters, if I smell green beans, I want to break out into song.
Well, Lindsay Patrick Wright, have you been affiliated with these before? Is this your first time? Or?
Oh, no, this is my fourth play with Playhouse 615, just in 2 years. So, like I said, it's one of my favorite places, not just because of the proximity to my own house in Mount Juliet, but Anne and Joel have created such a family environment for those of us. Some of us are professionals. Some of us, just do this as a hobby, and they are able to bring us together and respect our time and our talents. And it's always a great time working with Playhouse 615.
Well, I guess a lot depends on who comes out to try out to offer their services, if you will, for a production as to who gets chosen. But at the same time, to have even people who are professionals like you to be even interested in something like this, I think speaks well for what y'all are doing, and the word is getting out, and I was glad to hear that you had almost sold out, and then sold out or capacity crowd for standing room only. Let's say yesterday.
That's right. We did.
So that's a good sign.
Yes.
Indeed. Yes, it is.
We welcome anyone to come and audition, no matter your experience. We had a woman in the last show who had never done a show. And she came out for Lysistrata, our last production, and she was cast, and she was absolutely phenomenal.
How much is time, let's say, has gone into this? You choose what you're going to do, you get your cast, and then you have to have rehearsals and so on. Now, for somebody, Lindsay, like you, who this is kind of old school for, I would take it that other than maybe learning your lines and so on, it probably doesn't take all that long to get it down where you feel like you're okay to go. Is that right? But what about somebody who is not a seasoned performer, let's say?
Well, during the break we were talking about memory, and as I'm getting a little longer in the tooth, I have found that it is a little bit more difficult to memorize my lines than it used to be, say, 20 years ago. But the time commitment, Playhouse is really wonderful about setting a rehearsal schedule. You're looking at 4 to 5 nights a week during the week leading up to the play that you're rehearsing. This one was a shorter rehearsal period because the play itself is actually only 90 minutes, no intermission. Plays are usually a little bit longer than that, so we were able to kind of truncate our rehearsal period for this, so it was just around 3 weeks of rehearsals.
So you're saying you started 7:30, you're over by about 9 o'clock.
That's right. That's right. I'm usually in bed and asleep by 10 p.m. I appreciate that too.
2 o'clock in the afternoon, over by 3:30.
Exactly.
Do you? And I'm I'm one of these days I'm going to make one of these, but I don't know when. I'm going to try. Do you have refreshments, or do you what you said it's a fairly small theater?
We seat about 55.
Okay. Well, usually if you're there even an hour and a half, you want something to eat or drink.
Yes, and normally this show doesn't have an intermission, but if we do have an intermission, we have chips and pop and candy and other things that our audiences can purchase during intermission or beforehand. And we encourage them to buy whatever they want before the curtain for this show because there is no intermission.
Right. But a lot of laughter, I take it. It's a comedy of 4 or 5 different
yes
performances, our shows. Yeah. So
and this one's interesting too because we interact with the audience a little bit in this one too. So the audience is kind of part of the show for this one.
Well, that makes it even more better then.
Yes, absolutely.
We're also the Middle Tennessee premiere. The show's never been done in Nashville or surrounding counties. I think it was done in Memphis a couple of years ago, but that's the closest place of anyone who's done this show.
We can get the word out.
So you'll be seeing it. You'll be the first ones to see it in Tennessee.
Yep.
Yeah. you're probably going to have full house the rest of the way, and then somebody else will be picking up on it.
Yeah, hope so.
And
it's a fun show.
Those that aren't familiar with Second City, it's a very famous comedy workshop teaching actors, and so a lot of your Saturday Night Live performers came out of Second City. And so if you love them and think they're really funny, they came out of Second City, and that's where this play is from.
Well, do you have any sponsors, or does you just depend on ticket sales to pretty much take?
We do.
We depend on the kindness of strangers.
Strangers, yes. We do sometimes get sponsors, and this time we did bartering. We love to barter with companies. We give you ad space, free tickets to the show, that kind of thing. And we use these huge blinds. It was just coinky-dinky that they donated them to us, but Budget Blinds did donate, and most of our set are these huge blinds because this takes place at like Big
Shutters.
Daddy's Shutters. I said blinds.
Yes.
Shutters, the really thick ones, plantation type shutters for our plantation home. And we had a couple of other, Bel Air Hotel that's in Nashville, in Donaldson. They let us do a photo shoot on the steps of their gorgeous place. And so we've kind of bartered this time.
A couple of plays ago, it was an Irish play, and so we worked with a local Irish pub.
Yes, the Lost Patty.
Yeah,
and they did donate. They did sponsor us as far as
all right.
money.
We're about out of time here. 45 seconds. It's Death of a Streetcar Named Virginia Woolf. That's the name of the production, and it is going to be at Playhouse 615 in Mount Juliet. And we're just glad to have with us this morning Ann Treat Kavanaugh, Lindsay Patrick Wright, along with Joel Merriweather. And if I said something wrong, y'all are laughing.
No, we were just laughing because it was just so fast. Just the turnaround.
But it's over.
I know.
We're talkers.
Because we just talk too much.
Thank you all for being with us. Have a great Monday, and until tomorrow, I wish you a magnificent day.